Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Samp&Chance. We are a little bit behind. We apologize for that. Guys, before we get started here, remember, look at the bottom of the screen here if you're watching this on YouTube. And if you're not watching this on YouTube, you can find all our links on YouTube. They're right there at the bottom of the screen. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, you name it. You can find us.
Facebook.
Facebook. There's no excuses for anything. That all being said, ladies and gentlemen, I am Bobby Sampson and joined with my man, Mr. Chance Michaels. We are, I guess, technically 1, 2 sleeps away now from the Royal Rumble. Here we are, my man. Two
Yeah.
sleeps away. I'm excited. A lot of hype, a lot of build up going into this show. With no January pay-per-view in sight. So they basically had 2 months to build the show up. No, there was no pay-per-view in December either. So they had all of December and all of January to build this
Yeah.
up. Looks pretty good. I'm pretty excited. But before we get into that, we'd be remiss if we don't talk about Raw 30, man, that happened on Monday. Now, most of you probably already know what went down already. So we'll keep it nice and brief, just some highlights here. Hulk Hogan coming out, Mike Troubles. Unfortunate.
Unfortunate. Good way to start the show, though, with the most iconic wrestler of all time. So it's too bad
Yeah.
with them. They fixed it quick, though, but still.
Yeah, but still, it's a faux pas, something that you don't normally see on Raw. But I mean, these
Oh,
things
I can
happen from
remember
time to
seeing
times. But yeah, so we start right off with the trial of Sami Zayn. They kicked the show off with this, and this was a really long segment, Chance. I mean,
too long. Too
it
long.
went really long. I mean, it was enjoyable. I didn't really feel the time or
First full
anything.
hour was almost all bloodline, and they had their tag match. I think it was too much. So it's Raw 30, and you got all these guys coming back, and you take it. That takes an hour. I thought it was too much. It was good, but too long.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, no, fair enough. I can see where some people feel that way. I thought it was okay. Like I said, I didn't feel like it was, drawing on me. Like, oh my god, this is taking forever. I mean, it moved really well. It was done really well.
It
So
was
many
good.
things,
I was just excited
right?
to see the other guys, right? And you got to sit through these guys, and the bloodline are kind of mundane besides Sami Zayn. So I was like, let's go, let's go. That's
Yeah.
what I was feeling.
But like I said, I think it's all building up to something else bigger and whatnot. So I can understand why, but even they would have made, yeah, it went too long, right?
Mm.
Basically it starts out with Paul Heyman just basically running him down, just saying he's guilty, his charge, shows all these little clips of, where Sammy's running away from the action or what have you. And I can understand where Sammy came from on this. I mean, this was probably, it wasn't a shoot. Obviously, it was a work and it was a part of the whole, thing that they were doing. But
Yeah.
I really felt for Sammy. It's like, you know what? This guy's done everything he possibly can, to kind of prove himself and, to still be in this position is kind of shitty. So for him to come out at the end and go, look, you know what? I'm hurt by all of this. And how can I defend myself? I have no defense.
Yeah.
This pissed off Roman Reigns. And Roman's is all like, he got angry and, that angry that Sammy didn't care anymore and told Solo to get to, spike
Yeah.
him. And just as he was about to fucking launch it, Jay, or no, sorry, Jay, yeah, Jay.
Yeah, it's Jay, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, Jay comes out of nowhere and he stops him. The beauty of TV, you never see the guy coming from off camera, which is
Yeah,
still
that's
exciting.
true.
So, yeah, he stops him and he says, I produced my own, defense. Which of all the guys, the guy that hated him the most, the guy that wanted him out the most and everything is the one who's defending him the most.
Got a
And
soft spot for him now.
and when all this is said and done, I think I'm going to feel sorry for him, Jey Uso.
Yeah.
I mean, with all directions and the way this everything is kind of going right now, um, so he comes out, he gives his little defense, shows them how he's supported them, how he saved them, how he's pushed them out of the way, how he's taken shots. I mean, brogue kicks, claymores, you name it. Like he saved Roman, he saved Jay. So I mean,
He's like the nerdy guy trying to make the cool click, and he does whatever it takes to get in the click. Pretty much is what's happening with Sammy,
yeah,
right?
yeah, no, yeah. So basically, he goes, okay, you know what? Based on all the evidence, Roman gives him, a sentence of being innocent for right now until the Royal Rumble. That's his final test, and I think that's when this ball is really going to start rolling. Something's got to happen there.
Building.
Right?
Yeah, it's
right. It's building. It's building up to something. We got Extreme Rules coming up in February. Talk is that Sammy probably going to be the opponent.
No, Elimination Chamber.
Elimination Chamber. I apologize.
I know.
So we got that coming up. So let's see where we go there. All right. So like you said, the first hour of this 3-hour 30th anniversary of Raw continues with the Bloodline in a tag team match against Oh,
Maybe
Dominic
pro-
and
Oh, sorry, Judgment Day. Judgment Day.
yeah, Judgment Day,
Yeah.
Dominic and Damian Priest. Um, halfway through the match, Jimmy gets hurt. Sammy says, "I'll take over," and the rest is history. He gets the win. Everything is okay. Backstage, you can hear Roman telling Paul Heyman, "Okay, he's done what he needed to do here tonight. Keep him off. Keep him away till the Royal Rumble," which is interesting. So we, by all accounts, should not see Sami Zayn on Friday Night SmackDown, where his buddy and future tag team partner, if everything is the way it's supposed to go, Kevin Owens is going to be taking on Solo Sakai. So keep Sammy out of the picture, beat the shit out of Kevin there. Maybe that's the plan there. Now, this is probably my favorite part of the night. LA Knight comes out and he starts talking trash. And I love how this guy talks. I love his promos. But you know what? I get the sense, I almost get he's trying to call out his inner Stone Cold Steve Austin with the yeah, right? Like if you
Sort of.
watch
Yeah.
it, if you watch it, I don't know, I'm just reminded of Stone Cold a lot when he does that, right? He's
A
trying to
little
make
bit.
it his own. He's trying to get the crowd to buy into the yeah, but I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's kind of an interesting thing, but maybe it'll grow on me. I find it a little off-putting, but that's just me. Knight talks trash, says that he's not scared of nothing. Pitch dark match, which I still don't understand how that's gonna work, but I guess we'll find out this
They'll have a
Saturday.
little light on it so you can see what's going on.
It'll be really dim. I think it's gonna be kind of like when Sin Cara used to come out and they would fight on the red light.
Yeah, see something like that.
So something like that. But I mean, I don't think the ring will be fully illuminated, but I guess we'll find out when that happens.
Yeah.
He keeps talking trash, and all of a sudden, the one guy I knew he was going to be there, but I didn't realize he was going to be there as the American Badass character. Kind of cool to see the Undertaker come out to that old moniker. Really cool. Coming out
Yeah.
on the bike, he comes
On the
out
bike.
there. Yeah, comes out there and he steps up to LA Knight. Bray Wyatt music hits. He comes out. So now you got LA Knight caught between a rock and a hard spot. He doesn't know what to go. He ends up back in the ring, gets caught by the Undertaker. Looks like he's going to get choke slammed. Bray comes to the ring. He throws him to Bray. Sister Abigail. Bray and the Taker stare down. Taker says something and walks away. Passing of the torch.
Could be. Yeah, I guess you can say that. The next dark man, dark side, dark character.
It's kind of interesting. Going back to WrestleMania 31, because of that whispering of the year or that passing of knowledge or whatever he said to him, a lot of different other articles have now emerged about the Undertaker and Bray Wyatt, their particular relationship that they have. One interesting thing that I got out of this was from WrestleMania 31 when they had their match there. After the match, apparently, Taker had gone backstage, and one of his traditions is he always gives Vince a hug after the match. And the one thing he told Vince this particular WrestleMania was take care of him,
Yeah, I
regardless.
heard about that. Yeah.
Take care of him. So he's always had a thing for Bray Wyatt. He's always appreciated him. He likes him. He wants him to succeed. So maybe this is one can argue it was 5 years too late. But I can understand it. Maybe everything is timing. Maybe he wasn't ready for that. Maybe it wasn't his time. So it's kind of cool
Hard to
that
say.
it's hard to say, but like I said, it happened, and now we're here. This was a fun segment. So the next one that we had was Bayley versus Becky Lynch in a steel cage match. Now that got scrapped. Why?
Yep.
Because the Bloodline segment went too long.
Way too long.
Right. So basically, the original plan for this match was to have Lynch win and have Damage Control do what they had done to her in the beginning of that match, right? So because the match didn't happen, they just cut all of it and they just beat the shit out of her to forward that storyline. So that's basically what happened there. Out comes the Generation X and with Kurt Angle in tow. Now, this is really funny because I don't think the boys, well, I mean, they were working it that way that they didn't realize that Kurt Angle had walked out with them. They get in there, they start doing their shake, they look around, they realize that Kurt Angle's standing in the ring with them, and they look at him and go, "What are you doing here?" Because I always wanted to be a part of DX. I thought that was really fun. It was a really fun segment. A lot of comedy for these guys to do, and they built up a match. Seth Rollins, the Street Profits against Imperium. Imperium came out to kind of confront DX because they're making fun of everything, and these guys are serious wrestling guys, the sport that they love. So they had a 6-man tag there, and basically, as expected, Street Profits
Yep.
and Seth got the job done. I don't think it hurt anyone. I don't think it hurts Imperium at all. It was just a fun match, something to fill.
The
here.
one thing that I didn't like about this segment, it was funny and comedy was pretty good. I mean, the thing I didn't like is that I get we're old, we're out of breath, we're all old guys. I mean, I don't think Xbox is quite 50 yet. He's pretty close, but he's the youngest of them all. But I thought they made DX. I know they're not working anymore. I get it. But for me, it made him seem weak. Oh, we're too old. We can't do this. We can't do that. I wish they would have said, hey, we're still the boys. We want to go, we go kind of thing, right? So I felt it made him look weak. I get it. They're not even active, any one of them. So I understand it. But from my take, I thought they'd get in there, and you know what I mean? Like when Lesnar came to the ring to Hogan, hey, Grandpa, Hogan got right in his face. You know what I mean? Piper got in his face. And here's Triple H and Michaels. I don't want to wrestle him. You don't want to wrestle him? Like, I didn't like that. That's the
You know what it was? I think they were trying to be DX of 1997, 98, where they would do a lot of those kind of moves. Like, it was almost, it was just that comedy aspect of DX,
No, the
right?
comedy was great, but I just thought
No, I know what you're saying, but they were
Right.
just focusing on that more than they were, trying to be tough guys or anything.
Yeah, I know.
right?
Sometimes Michael runs around and goes, oh, my
Yeah,
breath.
yeah. A lot of times, the only times that I ever saw DX ever get serious in those kind of scenarios was when they felt threatened. You know what I mean? Like when DX was going up against the Nation of Domination, you would see them get up in their face.
Yeah, but as
I
soon as
I
you know what I'm
totally get
saying, but as soon as
you're
I
saying.
see when Hogan crashed or Lesnar crashed Hogan's party, it's birthday's over, Grandpa, and Hogan like stared him down, and Piper got in his face, and Flair like they had that old but still tough, like let's go, but I guess DX doing more of a comedy thing, but it was a great segment nonetheless.
No, it was really fun. I really enjoyed it.
Mhm.
And yeah, I thought, it would have been nice to see them kind of get up in their faces, but like you didn't mention this though. We were talking about this off air. Triple H's comment to Road Dogg.
Oh, that was fun. Yeah, back Butterbean. Yeah, that was good.
Right. That was pretty funny as well. But if you
Really
look at
good.
them all, I mean, they're all outside of him.
They all look great.
They all look great. I mean, X-Pac looks really good.
They can all still go if they had to too.
I would say
Michaels just did a few years ago.
Well, I would say Michaels could probably go. I could say that, X-Pac could probably go. I think Road Dogg could roll around a bit.
Road Dogg can just talk.
Right?
He just stays in the mic.
I don't know if it's safe enough for Triple H to do anything.
Yeah, depending on his heart.
But no, there was that one moment where he got in the nose of Gunther. They stared off.
Did they?
Yeah, they had that one moment there where Triple H and Gunther were like nose to nose.
Well, I don't remember that one. Maybe if he did, good for him then.
Yeah. No, I do remember it now. Like as they were talking, right? Like they were talking shit and everything, and Hunter becomes Hunter a little bit, right?
A little bit, yeah.
Like, he was if anything, he was the one guy. Everyone else was kind of behind him, but he was that guy.
He's the biggest now. All right.
Right? Yeah. And unfortunately, he's probably the only one who can't go
because of his heart, possibly. Yeah,
because of his heart, right? But I mean, yeah, I do remember that. I saw that. I do remember seeing that. I'm trying to see if I have a. Yeah, it's right here. I'm looking at it right now. There was a picture of it. So there was a shot of Hunter and him kind of facing each other off there. So, but again, I think the comedy was so powerful.
It was great, yeah.
Right? Like it kind of maybe took that moment away for you. I'm just thinking. I could be wrong.
Yeah, you could be right, yeah.
But
yeah. It was very funny.
Yeah, so that was really cool. So okay, so basically, here we are. This is probably the only way they fit all these legends in. Now, I'll be honest, I thought more guys would have come. I was expecting a lot more in terms of legends and, for Raw 30, like, okay, for example, where was Stone Cold? Stone Cold should have been there.
Stone Cold would have been one of the guys you think that would be there.
Right? Mick Foley, but he turned it down. They wanted him to come. Yeah, he turned it down because he'd already been on the road promoting whatever he promotes now, his books.
Tatanka couldn't make it because his kid had wrestling or something like that.
Who?
Tatanka?
Yeah, I'm not too worried about him not coming.
No, but he said
Yeah. The Bella Twins were upset. They were initially booked, but then Creative told them we have nothing for you. So they went on their podcast this week to complain about that. And they also were, I guess they were trying to basically complain that they didn't do enough for the Girls' Revolution and everything else that had taken place over the years leading up to the Raw 30 and whatnot. So they're being a little bitter as well. I just wanted to throw that in there.
There's only so much time and so many people you can put on a 3-hour show, right? I mean,
well, the only female they had from the past was Alundra Blaze.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, No mention of Sasha, but there were segments that they showed Sasha. But I think at the end of the day, like I said, I mean, there were a lot of guys and girls there that should have been there that weren't there, in my opinion. Uh, namely
But
Stone Cold, namely Mick Foley.
yeah, but they got some of the big guns out like Hogan and Flair and Michaels, Triple H. So there's only so many. Like you said, Foley didn't want to do it. What can they do? He's saying no. We can
No,
show
no,
that.
no, 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 100%, right? So like, but I like the
Taker
fact
was
that he
there.
came out. Yeah, yeah, no, no, we got some good names, but I don't know. I thought Raw 25 had a bit more to offer, to be fair. I thought
It all
that
depends
like,
who wants to do it. That hurts the show too. If they say no, what are you going to do, right?
no, 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 I get it completely,
My
right?
only one complaint would be is that I wish Hogan was on a little bit more. I loved him starting the show. I wish you would have seen him again. I don't know, something backstage or come out and do something. But there's only so
Yeah,
much time you have,
well, like
so
I
I
said,
don't
but
blame
the
him.
3 hour Raw, there's enough time, right? I mean,
Yeah, you figure like man,
there
his
was
arms are still
only
huge for late
right,
60s.
right.
Man,
I mean, if you think about it, there was only 4 matches in this whole show,
yeah.
right? And it's a 3 hour fucking show, man. I mean,
Were you
granted,
surprised that you didn't see Hogan again for the rest of the night?
well, I'm
I
surprised I didn't see a lot of things, right? I'm surprised there weren't more backstage segments. I wasn't expecting a lot of wrestling from the show. I really wasn't. I even though it was a go home show, and
mm-hmm.
that's the other thing that kind of maybe complicated this a little bit was the fact that it was a go home show for Raw. Like, this is the last Raw before
Yeah.
Royal Rumble, right? We only have SmackDown. So you needed to get all that in there as well, and I completely got that piece. I mean, I think you could have done without Sonya Deville showing up on Raw. That wasn't necessary,
That was
right?
not necessary at all.
The Bianca match, like, don't get me wrong, I love Bianca Belair, I love women's wrestling, but I don't think on a show like this that Sonya Deville needed TV time,
Absolutely didn't.
right?
It's not about the women's wrestling. She just didn't deserve to be on there. There's so many other guys that could have the spot.
Well, no, because it led to a match that I don't think needed to happen.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they didn't need to do
right. Like, I mean, I think you needed to focus more on the Alexa and her feud going into the Royal Rumble as it being a go home show, both being Raw people. You needed to focus on that a little bit more. I thought. I think they did a good job building it up and tearing it up before they go into this match. Alexa basically saying that, look, I don't need Uncle Howdy. I don't need Bray Wyatt. I don't need Fireflies and fun houses. I need you to understand that I'm going to kick your ass by myself. Right. And I think of all the people that can possibly take the strap off of her, Alexa's probably the most promising. I don't think she's going to win, but she can handle her own. And that vicious little side of her that when it comes out, she's an awesome heel, man.
Yeah, she's good.
Right. So I'm looking forward to that. All right. So back to Raw. The Miz comes out and was upset that he doesn't have a title match or a Miz TV segment or anything like that on the Raw 30. KO comes out and beats the shit out of him. Let's just call it at that.
Yeah.
Austin Theory versus Bobby Lashley. No DQ match. This was your main event. Lashley basically controlled the whole match until that music hit, and out came Brock Lesnar. F5 Bobby, then F5 Theory on top of him. And there you go. Austin Theory is still holding that title. I got some ideas now. You ready?
What's that? Let's hear it.
All right. So, Chance, let's talk Royal Rumble. Here we are. Okay. Let's talk about what we know because there's one more show to go. We don't know what's going to be added from that show, if any other matches are going to be made from that show. So let's work with what we have. Let's first start off with the men's Royal Rumble. Okay. Yep. In this match so far, we got Kofi Kingston, Santos Escobar, Ricochet, Baron Corbin, Austin Theory, Seth Rollins, Bobby Lashley, Rey Mysterio, Gunther, Cody Rhodes, Omos, Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, Braun Strowman, Karrion Kross. That's 15 with 15 spots open. Now, this is what makes this Royal Rumble really interesting. All the Rock talk and all of the stuff leading up to Roman Reigns' title defense and what have you has really put this men's Royal Rumble up in question in terms of really going out there and determining, like, this is a grapple, man. Like, this is a real true guess. I mean, if everything was supposed to be the way it's supposed to be in direction and wise, I would say Cody's the guy to win the Royal Rumble. Right?
Cody will probably win it.
But that's based on what we know. Now, based on the 15 names that we don't know about, I'm not too concerned, but one of those spots, if it belongs to The Rock, that is probably the guy who's going to win it.
I don't think Rock's coming out, but if he does, he wins it. I don't think he's coming though.
I don't know. Maybe he's not, and it's kind of
I hope
interesting.
Lesnar comes in the Rumble. I'd like to see him come out there and start tossing some guys
All
like
right.
Ray.
I like you talking that way because here's my prediction, right? We don't see the name Brock Lesnar on that list of 15, right? Right.
Mm-hmm.
I think Brock and Lashley are going to start this year's Royal Rumble.
That'd be cool. That's a hell of a way to start it.
Right. And I think between the two of them, they're going to go and they're going to eliminate 15 of the guys that we don't know about between the two of them and keep fighting. And then ultimately, what you're going to see is Omos come out. Omos will come out at some point, and the Hurt and Cedric, Shelton, MVP, they're all going to come out and work together to help Bobby eliminate Brock, which will set you up that match for Mania.
Yeah, that could be. I hope it's not Lashley and Lesnar again at Mania. I think I'd rather see Brock fight a young guy, but it could be. It looks like that's where it's going because he came out and attacked Lashley on Raw, right?
Yeah, but they haven't fought at Mania.
No, I know. I'm just saying I don't want to see them keep feuding. I'd rather have them have a fresh feud going into Mania.
Well, to be honest, they've only had the one match, and that was
Did they have two?
No, one. Oh no. Wait a minute.
They've had two.
Yeah, but no, one. When what's his face beat him, Lashley beat him, kept the title on him.
I thought they've only had one. I thought it was two.
I can only think of the one match in my head
right now,
man. You could be right as well. That's the beauty of it, but I don't know. I'm gonna go with what I think. I think they've only had one match.
Okay.
And that was kind of like thrown together quickly, right?
We might see Edge come out in this Rumble too.
Well, Edge could potentially come out as well. Like, I mean, he's another name here as well, right? So we don't know. There's like 15 guys. I mean, Dominic's name's not even on the list. So we don't. Right. So we don't know who the other 15 guys are. Some of them could be NXT guys. Some of them could be surprises. We do not know.
And who won it last? Austin Theory won it last year, right?
No, Brock won it last year.
Was it Brock? Was it Brock?
Yeah. Brock won the 2022 Royal Rumble, man. I'm currently.
I'd like to see Austin Theory win it, to be honest with you. I know he's not going to, but that's who if I was in charge, I'd give it to him.
I have a feeling Austin Theory and John Cena is your match for Mania.
That'd be sweet. Yeah, maybe John Cena comes out in the Rumble.
Maybe. I don't know. Like, I mean, again, we don't know.
We'll see. It'll be fun. There'll be some surprises. There always is.
Yeah. It's going to be lots of surprises. So that's the men's Royal Rumble. Now, knowing what we know, are you going to go with your pick of Cody Rhodes still?
I think he's going to win, but I do not want him to win because I'm not his biggest fan. But yes, I'm going to stick with Cody Rhodes to win it.
Okay.
What about you?
I'm going to go with Cody as well, only for the fact, just based on what we know. Now, either the creative team over at WWE has done such an amazing job with this by where they've really, done a good job with The Rock, and it's truly going to be a surprise.
But like I've been saying for the last few months, the guy's not in ring shape. He was terrible the last time he went 10 years ago. And yes, he's built like an ox, but he can't move well. He's too many PEDs. He looks good, but I don't think he can wrestle. And I don't think he wants to go out there and be a shell of himself. So I don't think we'll see him.
Well, I think maybe he is ready because I hear he's training with guys down at NXT. I've heard that story as well. I think I think personally that maybe they're throwing shade on it to make it look like he's not going to be there. And, secretly he's doing his thing. They tried one way to keep it really under wraps and everything.
50-50. It's hard to say.
It's hard to say. We don't know. I think everything's going to be answered this Saturday. We'll know for sure. So based on what we know, I am going to go with Cody Rhodes as well, only because it's the right choice, the promotions and everything behind it. Unless it's some fucking swerve that none of us expected.
I hope so. I sure hope so.
Not even be The Rock. It could be anything, right? Like we've seen Royal Rumbles where when Shinsuke won, I didn't expect that.
Yeah, right? That's a surprise.
But then that's the one time they got it right. He eliminated Roman at the end there. Mm-hmm. They were booing him. I just finished watching the Royal Rumble 2015. I have a habit of going back and watching old Royal Rumble matches at random. As we lead up into it, just to kind of get a feel and see where things are. The Royal Rumble 15 was really interesting, man. You know what? I was watching it and I felt like it was like AEW versus WWE at many a time. like in the ring at one time, you had Seth against 5 current AEW guys,
Oh,
you know.
okay.
So it was kind of fun to watch that Royal Rumble, but that was the Royal Rumble where they were hot for Daniel Bryan. This was the
Yeah, they
Rumble
want
going
got one win. Yeah,
right. This is the one that was going into WrestleMania 30. Now, this crowd booed the shit out of everybody after the 30th guy
yeah.
came out. I can't remember who it was right now off the top of my head. But once the number 30 came out and they realized that Daniel Bryan wasn't in the Royal Rumble for the rest of that match, and I felt bad for Sheamus. I felt bad for Roman at that point because I felt bad for Batista. I felt bad for Ray. Those were your
Yeah.
final four. When those final four were standing there, you know how they do, they stare down in their corners and look at each
Hmm.
other?
Yep.
All you heard was just boo, boo, like really loud boos and
Yeah.
cheers
Brian was hot for a few years there, real hot.
and basically,
I never liked the guy myself, but yeah, he was super popular. I can't deny it.
but yeah, so that was really fun to watch. All right, so let's go to the women's Royal Rumble. Only 7 women are confirmed for this match. Liv Morgan, Candice LeRae, Rhea Ripley, Raquel Rodriguez, Shayna Baszler, Zelina Vega, and Emma. Um, Interesting. I don't know what to expect from this one, to be completely honest. I'll tell you who I think's gonna win. Based on what we know again, based on the names that we know of, I really believe this is gonna be Rhea Ripley's Royal Rumble victory.
It
She's
sure seems that way. Sure
I
seems
think
that.
so. Well, they're not building it up that way, and I think that's the beauty of it.
Well, they kind of
Um,
are. They gave her a lot of camera time. She's
no,
getting
no,
in the
they get
guy's faces.
yeah,
She's
yeah,
got a
yeah,
promo.
yeah, yeah.
It
But
almost seems
that's
that way.
yeah, it seems I hear what you're saying, but all the time and everything that she's currently kind of doing is more geared towards Judgment Day business, right? And her relationship with Dominic. You haven't really seen an influx. Like, I mean, she was supposed to fight Bianca Belair before she got that concussion, right? So I
Mhm.
mean, that was supposed to be the match at Money in the Bank. So that never happened, and you never really heard much about that match ever since then. So she's quietly doing her thing with Judgment Day and whatnot. I just have a feeling because you can look and say, okay, Raquel Rodriguez is another name that could potentially win this Royal Rumble. Like like you got some of these girls in there like Bianca, Raquel, Rhea,
Ronda will
Charlotte,
be in there probably.
possibly, but she's not announced right now. Let's
She's
see
not
where
going
they
to win
go.
it though.
Well, again, you never know, right? Like, I
You
mean,
never know
Becky
by
could
about
be
it.
in there, Damage Control could be in there. Like, so there are a lot of names, you know. So let's see where they
Charlotte
go with
Flair
that.
maybe.
Well, Charlotte's champion.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
guess she'll be in the Rumble then.
well, she went in there one year. Remember, she went into the Royal
Mhm.
Rumble as champion, thinking if I win the Royal Rumble, I won't have to defend it at Mania. And I believe she got down to like the final 4 or final 5 in that match and got eliminated finally. So, but that was her thinking, right?
We're going to see on the women's side and on the men's side a few surprise entrances, like old stars are going to come out. They always do, 1 or 2 guys, 1 or 2 women. So those are always fun too.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think you're gonna probably see a few surprises here on this Royal Rumble, man. Not just the Rumbles itself, but I think as this card keeps going and going, you're just gonna see surprises. I think it's just
Yep.
a lot of surprises. I'm hoping, anyways, man. I'm afraid that I built this one show up a lot in my mind, and that scares me because whenever I've done that in the past, I've been let down. So,
Royal
I
Rumbles are always—they're one of the big 4. They're always pretty good.
they are, man. But last year's was pretty shit.
I didn't mind it.
No, I wasn't a fan of it at all. To be completely honest, I mean it was before we started this and everything, but it just didn't flow properly. There was a lot of miscommunication in that show. Just to go back and watch it again, I realized that yeah, it wasn't the best of that series. I wasn't the worst, but it
Yeah,
wasn't, a great show, in my opinion. Considering
I didn't
that
mind.
yeah, it was okay. It was okay. Don't get me wrong,
Yeah,
but it wasn't. But anyways, all right. So undisputed WWE Universal Championship is on the line. Roman Reigns defense against Kevin Owens.
man, not looking forward to this one at all. To be honest with
Well,
you,
what?
just don't want to see Kevin Owens in the main event for a championship match on a Royal Rumble. Like, I don't get it. He's not going to win. It's not even believable that he is going to win. So I'm not even sure why they're putting him out there.
Well, I
Because,
think
like,
it.
think about it. Roman's going to have the belt at Mania, right? So it's like, I'm sure there'll be interference with Sammy and that might all go down there. But, like, Kevin's definitely not winning.
No, and I don't expect him to win either. But again, as we call the Royal Rumble the official start to the road to WrestleMania, I
Mhm.
think all of this is just kind of building up to that reunion again of Sammy and Owens and, leading them to WrestleMania. I think it's just all has to play alone. Like, okay, to be completely honest, man, this whole Bloodline and Sami Zayn thing was supposed to only be a couple weeks, right? Roman wanted, this is something I've read. I saw this where Roman has said that he wanted to make Owens and Sami superstars. He wanted to work with them to elevate them to bring them up even higher. And the whole bloodline thing and everything that's kind of been going on, it was only supposed to last a few weeks. It wasn't supposed to go this long. But because everything clicked and everything happened, is what we got from it. A lot of it's because of Sami Zayn. Um, so yeah,
Bloodline, if you take Sami Zayn out of there, is maybe the most boring and mundane faction ever in wrestling. They are so boring and unentertaining. Yes, Roman's a good worker and Usos are a good tag team, but if you're talking for entertainment on the stick, they are so boring and mundane. So I'm glad they have Sami Zayn because he adds a little bit of life to them because they are very, very boring. It's bad. He adds
well,
a little sizzle to the steak, so to speak.
yeah, and interesting
And
enough,
Roman has getting better on the stick, but he's just not an entertaining guy. He's just not. Great
well,
worker, good look, but he's just not an entertainer. He's just not great at entertaining as far as mic work and charisma. Like I don't know. It's just boring when the Usos are standing there and then their cousin there and the blonde haired guy is just like they are so boring. It's like watching paint dry. But Sami Zayn makes it fun, right? So he's really saved it, I think.
yeah, well, no, I think a lot of people will
Right?
agree with that, and I think they will agree with that to a certain extent as
Yeah.
well. So, but I think this match is again just the part of the bigger picture, right? Like it
Yeah.
or not, it's
Mm-hmm.
going to go down.
Yeah.
I think Roman wins, obviously, but then again, who knows? There could be that swerve. Like I said, I mean, don't let Sammy come anywhere near us until the Royal Rumble. Your final test is at the Royal Rumble. So
Yeah.
this is, a lot of possible things can happen here. We could see the title split here, somehow. Um, which will allow Cody to win the Royal Rumble if The Rock decides to come back. So I mean, there's so many possibilities here. I mean, never say never. I mean, stranger things have happened. We could see Roman with one title. We could see Roman leave with two titles. We could see Roman leave with both titles. So again, until this
Yeah.
actually goes
Never
down,
know.
never know, right? I mean, it's kind of guarded. This whole storyline's being pretty guarded. So they've done a good job with it. And I hear what you're saying, but I think it's all just a build up to the bigger picture here.
Yeah.
All right, Raw Women Championship, Bianca Belair against Alexa Bliss. I think this is going to be a firecracker of a match. I think people are
Yeah, this will
sleeping
be
on
good.
this one. Don't sleep on this one, guys and gals. I mean, this is going to be a fun match. This will not be your bathroom bake match. I promise
No,
you.
this is gonna be good.
I will go with, um, I'm a huge Alexa mark. I'll be honest. But I don't think she will win. I think this will be Bianca winning it, and with Rhea winning the Royal Rumble, I think you're going to see that showdown at Mania,
I think you're right. I agree with you on that.
right? So that's kind of why I'm kind of building that up in my mind that way. And then finally, the pitch black match. Don't know what to expect from this. It could be like we were saying earlier. It could just be very dim lighting because I mean, what's the point of putting it on TV if no one can see?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it doesn't make sense. I mean, maybe they're blindfolds. That makes more sense to me,
That could be. I never thought of that. Yeah. That's
right? It's one possible way to that way that people can actually see. But I think if worse comes to worse, you're going to see just spotlights,
yeah, there'll be a little spotlights, white spotlights on there so you can
right?
see.
That's basically what I think is going to happen. Those are the two avenues that you're going to see from this, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, so that's basically your Royal Rumble, man. I think after Saturday night, we will have a real clear picture of what's going down.
One
And
thing I got to mention about Raw, and I think the young superstars need to take a little bit of notice of this. This is the best viewership Raw's had in 3 years. But what did it take? It took the old superstars to give you the best rating you've had in 3 years. That goes to show you people like the guys with the characters, right? They don't want to see. I'm not saying they're not good workers, Johnny Garganos and guys like that who don't have any charisma. When you bring out Hogan's and Triple H's and Takers and Angles, they get the best rating they've had in 3 years. Why? Because people want to see the old guys. This is my point. The casual fan tuned in on Monday to check it out. Even one of my buddies said, "Hey, Angle's out. Hogan came out. Like, he hasn't watched wrestling in 5 years." So the younger guys need to take note of that and develop better characters to keep that high rating up.
well, I think that's the problem with wrestling today, man. And we've talked about this, and I talked about this
Yeah,
with
I'm not
Jordy,
saying you don't say it, I'm just saying.
No. I'm agreeing with you. I'm just making a
Yeah.
point to your point. Even when we talked to the Moment Taker and Jordy Taylor there, just even on an indie level, you look at guys like Thunder
Mhm.
from Jalunder. I mean, it's
Great
that
character.
character, right? It's just that presence and whatnot.
I love the crazy
Jake,
look in his eyes too that he
yeah,
does.
yeah. Actually, to kind of talk about this even a little bit more, if you look at Jake the Snake Roberts, if you guys can check out his podcast, he goes off on the young talent.
Oh, does he? That's one DDP Snake Pit or whatever it's called.
Yeah, DDP Snake Pit. He goes off. I'm gonna find that for you here right now. Just give me a quick second. I'm gonna find this. It's really
I've heard
interesting what
about
he
it. I
had
haven't
to
checked it
say.
out, but
No, he was pretty upset. Like, I mean, I know, I know he can be a little weird sometimes. He's got
oh
his
yeah.
moments, Jake the Snake and what have you, but I can't argue with him on this one at all. Just bear with me here, fans. I'm trying to
Mhm.
find what he said here so I don't bastardize his comments.
While we're
Here we
saying
go.
that, we check that. Did you hear what Kevin Nash said on his podcast there? Said it was a
Something,
sarcastic comment.
yeah, and then all of a sudden the police showed up and everything because it's suicide, right?
Well, yeah,
Is that
well,
what you're
maybe they
talking
got to
about?
take it serious. What if it was serious? They don't show up. So, I mean, it could have been sarcastic. It seemed legit, though. It didn't seem sarcastic.
Um, if someone
He's
comes and
saying that
checks
in
on you,
hindsight, but in the moment,
no. If someone is gonna say shit like that, and I'm gonna be honest here, man, and I apologize to anyone. I am a victim of suicide. I've lost a family member to suicide,
mhm.
and I was 13 at the time when I lost him, my cousin. All right, I'll be completely honest. Even at 13, I was sad, but I was also disgusted. In my personal opinion, I don't believe that suicide is the answer for anybody,
I know. I agree with you. Yeah, I hear you.
right? And anyone who commits suicide, and this is where I might get in trouble, and this is where we'll know people are actually listening, are the most selfish people in the world,
It's a selfish act, absolutely.
right? Like I'm basing it on what I witnessed after the fact, and now I got what this happened in 1988, so we're almost what 90
35 years later.
35 years later. I think I have enough substance to work with and enough data to kind of analyze, and the effect that it had on family members. It took years off their lives,
Oh yeah, I
right?
know.
We lost family members who were so affected by this that they probably should be alive today still, but
Wow.
because of it, their health and everything deteriorated, and they basically just
Yeah, you're not just taking yourself, or you're taking everybody else. A part of them goes with you too when you do stuff like that, right?
well, that's it, right? And the other big part of this is like I blame families for it, as harsh as that sounds. Like, oh, we didn't expect this, we didn't see that. Like, aren't you paying attention to your family?
Yeah,
If I come home and I see little Miss looking down, I'm gonna ask her, even if she's not, I will make sure, are you okay?
yeah. No, I hear
Even
you.
right? Like, I mean, it's a responsibility. Like,
So I don't blame the cops for showing up. They got to take it
no,
serious.
no, no, not at all. But how sad can you possibly be without someone not noticing?
Mm-hmm.
Just saying. I
No,
don't
no,
know,
you're right. You're right. I
right?
agree.
Like, it's a hard pill for me to swallow. It's a horrible thing to happen to anybody. It's a horrible place to be in anyone's mind, to get
Mm-hmm.
to the point where you feel that that's the only way to deal with things. We all have issues. We all deal with shit on a regular basis, man. Not one of us has a perfect life,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah,
And that's proven by people who have fuck you money.
yeah,
And that one gets me the most. If you got that kind of money, how could you be sad? What do you have to be sad about?
they'll say it's mental illness, chemical imbalance. They don't.
I get that as well, right? I get that as well. Like, like everyone is always sad about Anthony Bourdain being, whatever. You know what? Fuck that guy. I don't mean it in a bad way. He had the best job in the world.
Go
He
down
had the
eating.
best life in the world. He had a rock, man. What are you sad about?
Yeah, no, I
Right?
don't get it myself.
Outside of mental illness and stuff like that, and even then, even if someone is suffering from mental illness, and then having these kind of thoughts, Where are the practitioners? Where are the people around you?
I think a lot of them don't tell anybody, right? I don't think
It's
Bourdain was
like,
telling.
no, I get it, but you don't tell them, but you're supposed to pick up on energy, man. You're supposed to pick up on your family members' vibe. It's
Yeah.
kind of like, why do you have a family then? Right?
Mm.
Unless you're completely isolated and all by yourself and there's no one to check on you. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. No, I know what
Right?
you're saying. I hear you.
Like I apologize and I really sincerely apologize to anyone offended by that, but I don't mean it to be offensive. I just want people to open their eyes and realize that there's so many ways to avoid this. And it starts
Yeah.
with the people around you, if not the person himself. Obviously, the person himself doesn't know how to deal with it because they pushed themselves to that limit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. No, I agree.
Right. All right. So back to Jake the Snake Roberts, man. Holy shit. That was crazy. I apologize for that. And I lost it. Give me a second here. While I'm talking about that, John Morrison was on a podcast and he was talking about Logan Paul. And he said something really interesting. And the guy asked him, like, what did you think about Logan Paul's matches? He goes, well, it's really hard not to have a great match when you basically practiced one whole month for that one match. You rehearsed the match for a month solid. So he says, yeah, he's impressed by him, but how many guys get the opportunity to fucking work a whole month on one match?
I'm not sure whose podcast he's on, but if I heard Morris say that, I'd counter that and say, so you're saying, I'd say to him, so you're saying he practiced that same match for 1 month. Okay, fine. Who else could do it like that? Not many other guys could do that athletic ability that he had to do that or sell the match. Morrison can even put on that good of a match as Logan Paul. He never has.
No. But he's just saying, like, yeah, of
Oh,
course
he
he's gonna
practiced. I
have.
believe it.
Yeah. He's saying, like, yeah, of course he had a great match, but he feels he had that great match. He's taking nothing away from his athletic ability or anything like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. You think does he practice it?
He got that much time to perfect
But
it.
let's
You know what I mean?
let's pull a. I'm not going to mention names because they're friends of some of these guys. Let's pull a random guy out of All Star Wrestling. He's an average wrestler, and you'd let him train for 1 month. There's no way in hell he puts on a match like Logan Paul. So there's much more to it than just doing it every day. That helps, but you got to have the look, the feel, the athletic ability to do it. Because Morrison has never had that good of a match ever.
No. It takes a lot. It's just more than
Right?
just being able to. It's more than just being able to go into the ring and
I
perform
think
moves.
Morrison coming from a place of jealousy. They never got a big spot like that ever. He's a great athlete, but he never had a big spot like Logan Paul. So
Yeah, like I said, I haven't listened to the podcast. I was just reading a snippet of what he said. So it's Ryan Satin's Behind the Curtain podcast.
I don't even know who that guy is.
So he's from Fox. He's from Fox.
Okay.
And since SmackDown is on Fox, he's one of the Fox guys, and he does
okay.
very, very focused WWE focused podcast where he has different guys come on, different guys and girls come on from the roster, and they talk about their career and whatnot. So it's just kind of one of those kind of deals. So it's called Behind the Curtain with Ryan Satin.
Okay.
All right. So during an episode of his podcast, WWE Hall of Famer and current AEW personality Jake Roberts talked about the current wrestlers. Roberts went off on how young wrestlers don't sell much and never use any of their crazy moves to finish matches. Below is sorry, this is what Jake had to say. What kills me is that they'll go out and do all these horrible, fucking crazy, unbelievable, spectacular moves that nobody gets beat by. One of them.
Yeah.
Like you think about it, you look at some of those, like for example, the Young Bucks, when they have the guy on their knees and they give him that super kick. That's a finisher in itself, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So that's what he's referring to. Like some of these spots where they just slam the guy down hard and he still kicks out, right? Like those are, that's I think what he's referring
Finishing
to.
the match with, yeah.
Yeah. So but nobody gets beat by one of those, but they get beat by the most vicious hold in wrestling, the schoolboy, right? Which is nothing. It's a nothing move, right?
Yeah.
He goes on to say, God damn, I hate that. And shame on you guys for doing the schoolboy, you lazy fucks. Is that what you are your fucking egos gotten so big that you won't fucking get beaten by a guy's best maneuver?
Fair point.
Right? Is that I want so he goes on to say, like, I want to get beaten by the guy's best move.
Yeah, that's what it's supposed to happen.
But what you're seeing a lot, and it makes a lot of sense, and you see this more so in AEW, and I think that's why the matches look a bit more exciting sometimes, is the fact that they do these killer moves that anywhere else would be a finisher,
Yeah.
but it's just a move that's going to lead to another move.
Yep.
And then it makes total sense. Like, how can these guys kick out of these fucking knockout kind of blows? But then a simple pit roll up is what's going to beat you.
It doesn't make sense if you look at it from that, right?
Well, it all comes back down to character, Chance. I mean, that's the thing. It all comes down to character. It all comes down to, moves are moves. I get it. I mean, moves are what we pay to see. That's a part of the match. But
Yep.
I almost feel that moves are secondary. I want to see character. I want to see eye expressions. I want to see facial expressions, right? The storytelling. Brock and Taker comes to mind, where Brock and Brock is sitting up and Taker sits up. They look at each other and laugh. Like moments like that. I remember it. It's right off the top of my head. Like I've been telling you, I've been going back watching old episodes of the Royal Rumble. I'm like, oh shit, this match was on it.
Or Rock and Hogan stare down. You can feel the electricity just staring down.
But that's the thing. That's the thing. Like you go back to watch these cards and you don't remember the matches, you remember the moments.
Exactly.
Right. And I mean, I can pick out moments, but I can't tell you the whole card. I didn't remember that so-and-so fought so-and-so.
Yeah, so much wrestling we watched.
Right?
Can't remember.
It's kind of like when you think of the Royal Rumble, what's one of the first things that comes to your mind that you think of? Like for me, it's Kofi.
Like when I think of Royal Rumble, I think of Ric Flair winning in '92. When I think of it.
Well, I mean, I'm talking about moments.
Oh, like the move when he got along the apron there, yeah.
I'm just like talking about moments, things that kind of stand out, right? Like things that happened, like, oh wow, yeah, I remember that, right? So it's just like WrestleMania. It's like out of what?
Shawn Michaels, the cat skinning the cat. When he goes over the rope and pulls himself back up the Royal Rumble, that's one of the things.
Well, that's iconic, right? But I'm just thinking of just different moments of things that happen, like Undertaker and Shawn Michaels and Triple H in Hell in the Cell. I mean, I couldn't tell you all the matches on WrestleMania 28, but I remember that, even though Rock and Cena fought on that card, right?
Yeah. Maybe the most iconic match of all time, Hogan versus Andre. 90,000 people, right?
Right. But again, the match itself, it's just stare down, everything. That match only went for 4 minutes, 5 minutes.
Yeah, and then Guerrella's classic line, the irresistible force moves the immovable object, when he said that,
Again, there you go. Just little things that When was the last time you watched WrestleMania 3? But yet you still have that in your head, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So anyways, why don't we call this puppy what it is? So guys, this is our preview show for the Royal Rumble. We're days away, guys. We are days away. We're working on things, guys. We got things coming up. We'll give you guys more details here. We're looking to do a collaboration with another podcast here. So once we get some more details on that, we'll shoot that to you guys as well.
That's going to be because you got 4. They have 2 people on theirs, right?
They got 2 guys on there as well. Yeah,
you have 4 dudes with. That's when it gets fun. You got random opinions, random debates. So this can go either way. Either way, it will be fun.
I think it's going to be fun. These guys run a podcast that's basically about wrestling history and clippings. So so it's really cool. So I'll send you the information, Chance, so you can check it out as well. This kind of just came up in the last day or so. So I haven't had the chance to kind of touch base with you.
Like I said, we've had all kinds of different kind of guests on here, so we can talk and debate or whatever with anybody. So
yeah. So it's going to be a bit more of a history lesson, if I may. But looking forward to that. Hopefully we have a date set for that pretty soon. There's other coals in the fire here. So like I said, man, we've surprised you before. We will surprise you again. And guess what, guys?
We'll even surprise ourselves sometimes.
Absolutely. And guess what? We have merch.
Oh, yes.
Unfortunately, I do not have it with me right now. They're there in the other room.
We'll post it on our social media sites.
Yeah, definitely. We got Samp&Chance t-shirts made, ladies and gentlemen. They come in all sizes from triple XL for the big man, all the way down to small to the little man and girl, whoever wants to buy one. But hey, guys, we'll give you more details on those and stuff like that. We're going to do some contests and giveaways to kind of throw out some merch to you guys. So yeah, I'm very excited about this. I've been working we've been working pretty hard on this to get these made and whatnot, and they're finally done. I'm really happy. Chance,
They
unfortunately, I
look good.
haven't had the chance to show them to you in person yet. You've only seen them on camera,
They look
but
good.
yeah, they look really good. I'm really excited. So, guys, that's our show for today. My name is Bobby Sampson. This right here is Mr. Chance Michaels.
In the words of the great ACDC, those that download, like, subscribe to the podcast, we salute you.
We do salute you guys. And like I said, we are 2 sleeps away from the Royal Rumble. So, guys, please, until then, be safe, stay safe, enjoy the Royal Rumble. If you guys are going to drink and get together with your pals, because this is one of those pay-per-views where people like to have a little bit
big
of a
four.
party, right? So, I call this the second biggest show of the year, leading to the biggest show of the year, which is weird, right? So,
yeah.
The 2 favorite shows of the year are about to kind of take place and take shape. Guys, be safe. Enjoy the rest of your week. Enjoy the weekend. Samp&Chance will be back soon. Take care, everybody. Have a great one.